Hello, and a very warm welcome to this video where I'm going to cover off how to choose your niche, the niche that you're going to play in, the niche that you're going to dominate for the next few years at least. Okay, so let's jump in. Right, so when we're picking our niche, we want to find a niche that we can dominate. All right, now there are big niches and there are small niches, and by that I mean there are niches that are too big to jump into, and there are niches that are too small that you can certainly dominate, but you're not going to be able to reach any kind of scale that brings you the success that you're looking for. Right, so we need to be looking at that sweet spot, and I'm going to show you how to find niches right there in that sweet spot. Right. The reason we're focusing on one particular niche than sort of scattering around on multiple niches like right from the offset is we want to focus our attention. Okay, we want to learn our target audience. We want to know what they're about, how they speak, who they hang out with, who they learn from, who entertains them, and so on. Okay, and if we're looking at all bunches of different niches, we're not really giving ourselves any kind of targeting edge. All right. So what we will do then is we will build a page around that niche. So if your niche happened to be stamp collecting, then we'll build a page around stamp collecting, and we'll gather a whole bunch of passionate stamp collectors all in that one place and provide value to them. All right. So that page naturally will perform better as every fan on that page will share the same passion, rather than creating a sort of general page that has some stamp collectors and some golfers and some car enthusiasts, and as such you put up a post about stamp collecting and only a third of the people like it, and so the post won't actually perform as well. We're going to get all of those targeted, engaged people all together right there on that one page. Right? So here we go. Guidance for finding your niche. So this is what we're sort of looking at, the first broad categories in which you can deep dive into. So we've got hobbies, we've got ownership, we've got jobs and professions, we've got passions, and we've got lifestyle beliefs, and bonus points if that niche is one that you're already knowledgeable about and fits the criteria that we're going to go through later on. So let's just dive into these quickly. Right, I'm just going to backtrack. So hobbies. So hobbies are things that people aren't necessarily earning from, they're interested in, and sort of examples might include stamp collecting or sports or plane spotting, gardening, and so on. These aren't professionals. These are just people that enjoy doing these things in their spare time. All right. Next up, we've got ownership. So these are people that own specific things, right? So it might be specific car types. Of course, we need to be careful if we're working with brands and things like that. We don't want to step on any trademark or copyright laws. But specific car types, it might be that you've got Volkswagen Beetle owners, for example, as being a really specific car type. Specific expensive items. So we've got Rolex owners, boat owners, things like that, right? And of course animals, and we're talking animals that are pets, animals that provide a service, perhaps in the family farm, or animals that are endangered. They might not own the animals that are endangered, but they might have an interest, and so we can go a bit broader there with the targeting. Great. Then we've got jobs and professions. Okay, so here we've got basically the things that people do, and we're looking at ideally passionate people that are passionate about their jobs. Okay, we're not looking for that person that's sort of bored stiff at their job. We're looking for the people who are actually passionate about their stuff. So some examples here are accountants, and take it from me, accountants are certainly the ones I've met are crazy passionate about numbers, and they're crazy passionate about being stressed, particularly around tax season. Nurses, obviously saving people, entrepreneurs, changing the world, and so on, right? Then we've got passions. Okay, so passions like charity workers, people who are passionate about personal development, food, keeping fit, all right? Things like that, all right? It's like passions. Then we've got lifestyle beliefs, so LGBT, religions, parenthoods, gun rights, etc. Right? It's sort of people who are almost cultish about their lifestyle or their beliefs. All right, and as I've already said, bonus points if you are already knowledgeable or fit into one of these categories, then great. That's a great starting point because you actually already understand the niche, right? And it's also probably interests you. So if you're really into plane spotting and you build a Facebook page around plane spotting, you're going to be already really well educated, and that will help you in the targeting. And it'll be fun you'll find the conversations that take place on your page to be quite interesting, right? So where to research? All right, so starting off, you could Google the top 100 blah blah, right? E.g. the top 100 hobbies in the United States. Okay, so this is if you haven't already picked out, you're just delving into those categories that I've just mentioned, and you're saying, okay, I'm kind of interested in maybe finding a hobby niche, all right? So you might start off with a Google search, like the top 100 hobbies in the United States, okay? Because you don't want a completely obscure hobby, but you also don't want that hobby that kind of everyone has, like eating breakfast. Everyone does it. No one's particularly passionate about it, right? Then you might want to look at your local magazine rack. You can bet that if there's a magazine on the subject, there's enough people in the world to buy that magazine. Otherwise, that magazine wouldn't be in business. So it might well be that you find some of the sort of more obscure magazines in your rack, and you might find a killer niche there that you're interested in. You could Google Owners Association, right? But don't just stick on page one. Do what you may well never have done before. Certainly we as humans don't seem to do it much anymore. But scroll past page one on Google. There's more than one page, folks. And see what websites come up. The Owners Association of Volkswagen Beetles, for example. Right. Whether it has TV channels, there's like cooking channels and hunting channels and so on. You might well be able to find a starting point. So like for example, cooking might be a starting point. That niche is probably a bit too broad, but then it might well be that there's certain types of cooking, slow cooking, right? Cooking keto, vegetarian cooking, vegan cooking, and so on. Actually, is vegan cooking? Is vegan? I don't know. So there you go. You can start with a TV channel and look for sub-niches in that TV channel. We've got you could do a search for most popular jobs, okay? And if you can sort those jobs in some way by the number of people that have those jobs and look at the earning levels and the earning potential within those jobs, you might be able to find a sweet spot, okay? Probably not a lot of point in targeting people with jobs that don't pay very well. And likewise, there's probably not a lot of point in targeting jobs where there aren't many people who have those jobs, okay? So we're looking for that sort of sweet spot. You can find groups of passionate people by searching largest rallies in. So the largest rallies or protests or demonstrations, all of those words work. And you can say in the US or in Chicago or what have you. To try and find perhaps news reports on people who are care enough about whatever it is that they will actually use their spare time to go out, make a sign and shout loud and congregate generally. All right, those people are pretty passionate, and if they're willing to wave a flag out in public for hours, they may well be keen to wear their message on their clothing or printed on a coffee mug or whatever the product is that you're going to be selling, all right? And then you can look at some big sites that already cater to lots and lots of different niches. So sites like teespring.com, sunfrog.com, both good. You could look through their menus and look at the different categories they have there and try and drill down and see some examples there, all right? So what do we want from our niche? Okay, we want an irrational passion. Would they wear it on their chest? Would they talk about it with strangers? Would they identify as it? Would they maybe get a tattoo of it, right? That's when you're really tapping into the passion. This is, as I said, like eating breakfast. We all do it, and we all like doing it probably, but it's not, it's not something you perhaps just go up to a stranger and be like, hey, I had breakfast today. People might think you're crazy if you started saying that, whereas perhaps you might get away with talking to a stranger and you said like, wow, I've just had this awesome tattoo. It's really painful. I don't know, check it out. Or did you see that wicked cool Lamborghini down there? Or, check out my whatever, right? Certainly they would talk about it with their friends, even if it's not strangers. So that's what you got to think. You've got to say, right, are there people passionate enough about this? And when you've got your niche, you can start Googling and you can type, niche plus association, niche plus organization. You can search for your niche across Facebook pages and Pinterest accounts and YouTube channels, and you can see, you can get a feel by looking at the subscriber bases of these channels and platforms. You can see, is this something that there's a lot of people about? There are a lot of people interested in this, but we want that irrational passion, right? We want there to already be existing communities. It's a lot easier. Now, we don't want to go for saturation, of course, but it's a lot easier if there's already groups of people in existence around this niche, okay? You don't want to create, or it's going to be very difficult, rather, to create a brand new niche that doesn't exist. Okay, there may well be plenty of people that like whatever it is, but it's very difficult to be the first person to round those up if there aren't any other groups and societies. So further down the line, absolutely, but when we're starting off, not so much. All right. So you wanna know that there's at least associations or organisations or social media pages or accounts around the niche that you're looking to jump into. Right. It'd be great if there are celebrities or experts in that niche as well, right? People that teach the niche perhaps, or people who are just sort of well known. Tiger Woods is well known in the golf niche. Now, I'm not saying necessarily target Tiger Woods. He's probably a bit too big and probably a bit too well known, but that is an example of a celebrity in the golf niche, all right? And so golf would be validated by that particular criteria. We want the niche to be bigger than 500,000 people, okay? And it's 500,000 people in the territories that you're targeting. So if you're targeting English speakers, it's no good if there's 500,000 fans of that niche in Asia and they don't speak English. All right, that would be an example, and vice versa, of course. So we want at least 500,000 people in our niche, okay? If you were able to convince 1 in 100 to buy, you can get an idea of the sort of number of sales that you could get from that and why you wouldn't really want to dip lower than 500,000, right? If you don't know the size and you can't really get a gut feel from the social media pages and accounts and things like that you found, that's fine. We can confirm later on in Audience Insights. It would be great if there's affluence and or buying within the niche, right? If there's existing products that you can find perhaps on Etsy or on Google Shopping or on eBay or Amazon around that niche, when you search for that niche, you can find products that people are buying. That's a great sign. And if it's a sort of affluent niche as well, where the people in that niche have money, there's bonus points for that, but it's not essential. Okay. Again, if there's brands within the niche. So what I mean by this, are the people within that niche already buying products to help them with that niche? So hobbies, say we looked at running, right? People are buying smartwatches that help them measure the number of miles they've run and their heart rate and things like that. Fishermen are buying all kinds of tackle and rods and reels and what have you. Golfers are buying golf clubs and golf balls and tees and clothing, and so if there are brands within your niche, then even better. So if any of your big stores near you happen to stock equipment for your niche, great stuff. You could potentially you probably are onto a winner there, right? And again, if there's magazines within the niche, it's optional, but it's desirable. That indicates that it's probably a slightly bigger niche, particularly if it's on your magazine rack. If it's more one of those online-only magazines where people have to find a website and sign up there and the magazines then ship to them, then that might well be the sort of target size. But again, it gives you good confirmation about your niche. And events within the niche, right? This again, it's optional but desirable. But again, if you know that people are like paying to at least travel, but maybe to buy tickets to go to some sort of convention or event of some description about your niche, then again, you know that there's that passion there that people will do that. All right, so we're talking dog shows, Comic-Con, stadiums for things like NASCAR or NFL or soccer or rugby and so on, right? If there's events within the niche, it is optional, but it's desirable. All right. Okay, so now we can jump onto this sort of handy little checklist. Okay, so get a piece of paper, draw out these titles, put your paper or landscape, write these titles along the top, and then the ideas that you come across with your research, write those down here, down the left-hand side, okay? And begin to tick off, cross, and fill in these different squares here, right? And then give them a score. So you can see this one has, right, stamp collecting. Is there an irrational passion about it? Yes. Are there existing communities? Yes. Are there brands? I don't know. So I've left it question mark. Affluence or buying? No. All right, is what I've put here for stamp collecting in this example, right? Websites, publications, yeah, absolutely. Does it excite me? Not particularly. Is it larger than 500k? I'm not sure. So at the moment, this has got a score of 3. Turtle owners. Is there a rational passion? Definitely. Existing communities? Yep. Brands? No idea. I need to research further. Whoops. Is there affluence or buying? Yeah, there's people buying in the turtle space. Websites? Yep. Does it excite me? Yeah, kind of. Larger than 500k? Not sure, so it's got 5 so far, right? And then this final one, and this is just to indicate what will absolutely rule it out. Your local sports team, like if you're in a small town, the little sports team in your small town is what I'm talking about here, okay? Yes, there's passion and there's a little community in your town. Probably isn't brands yet and affluence and buying. Is it larger than 500k? No. Right, in terms of, are the number of fans of your little local village or town sports team, are there more than 500,000 fans? Probably not, all right? And thus it rules it out, so we put a cross. It automatically disqualifies, right? So hopefully you get the idea there with this table, and I'm going to come back to this table in future videos and show you where we've got to, right? So let's summarize. First off, congrats. Once you've done this research, you now have some great ideas to start with, all right? You've certainly got places that you can go, you've got avenues to explore and to research, okay? So what I want you to do is I want you to pick your 10 best options, right? Your best 10 options that make your shortlist, okay? So have some fun, research, any ideas in this stage, just scribble them down on a piece of paper. Don't rule out anything, just scribble them down on a piece of paper and then put them into your table, okay? Put them into your table, and that's when you can begin to score them and do that particular exercise, all right? We're going to deep dive into these options in the next video to further qualify them, all right? So at this point, take some time and get your shortlist ready so that we can dive into those in the next video. All right, thanks for watching, and at any point you can progress faster by grabbing a copy of my free book, which you can grab at book.smarterdestiny.com, and you'll get that free sent to you immediately. All right, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.